So we still have about 5 minutes before we start, so you don't have to be quiet for the full 5 minutes. Just right up here. Oh, you stand up here.
Did I turn off my sound?
I did. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you.
Very good.
Welcome, everyone. Happy and healthy New Year to everyone for this 2018. I call the meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee Reorganization meeting for 2018 to order. And again, thank you all for coming. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2018, the News Record and Star Ledger in December 2017, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Would Troop 5, Boy Scouts of America, please present the colors? Please join me for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Adams?
Here.
Mr. Daffis?
Here.
Mr. DeLuca?
Here.
Mr. Lembrick?
Here.
Mr. McGehee?
Here.
Okay, I already got that. I would like to invite Madison McGehee forward to sing the national anthem.
You see, I just want to be like, what's so proud to shapes and bright stars through the perilous way. For the mountains we walked were so gently streaming, and I say us that stars twinkle.
Thank you, Madison. Would Amir Ashraf Latif, Nia Majid, and the Community Center of Newark please come forward and provide the invocation?
Ladies and gentlemen, respected Maplewood Committee, I greet you with the universal greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God Almighty be with all of you. Yahdikum Allah wa yuslih balakum. We pray that He guide us all and set right our affairs. I begin with chapter 1 of the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين Amen. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises are for God Almighty, the Lord of the world, the most beneficent, the most merciful, owner of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, thee alone do we seek assistance of. Guide us towards the straight path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your grace, and not on the path of those who have earned your anger, not of those who have gone astray. O our Lord, let not our hearts deviate from the truth after you have guided us. Grant us all mercy. Indeed, you are the bestower of all good. O our Lord, owner of all sovereignty, you give dominion to whom you will, and you take dominion from whom you will. You elevate whom you will, and you abase whom you will. In your hands is all good, and you have power over all things. O our Lord, you've chosen to elevate our Mayor DeLuca, to the highest office of Mayor of this great city. We ask you to shower your mercy and guidance on him. Allah, we ask you, O God Almighty, that you would grant him broad shoulders to bear the burden of this great office and bless him in all his deliberations. O Almighty God, let him be a source of justice, balance, fair play, and inclusiveness in this great city of Maplewood. For we are living in a time of strife and divisiveness. We therefore ask your blessings on the proceedings. Bless our Mayor DeLuca, bless our Councilman, Dean Daffis, and guide them all, and bless this great city of Maplewood and its residents. We ask these mercies by your might and power. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Troop 5 Boy Scouts of America, please post the colors. Please be seated.
It is a Maplewood tradition to dedicate each year's reorganization meeting to a group or organization. Today, we are dedicating it to a theme also, and that theme is equity and unity in community. And we thought of two organizations that represent that theme, and that is Soma Action and Soma Justice. And we'll ask them, their representatives, to come up and join us now in unity with the 5 Township Committee members.
It is my honor to present the proclamation honoring Soma Action. Whereas on January 29th, 2017, the grassroots organizing group Soma Action held its first meeting at the Hilton branch of the Maplewood Library that was attended by over 250 people from Maplewood, South Orange, and the surrounding communities. And whereas Soma Action now has more than 1,100 members who are committed to a progressive agenda of social, environmental, and political justice, transparency and accountability in government, and the value of a diverse and inclusive community. And whereas Soma Action promotes the dignity, rights, and welfare of the community, the earth, and our society, and stands in solidarity with other groups working towards these goals. And whereas Soma Action has sponsored community information and training programs such as From Town Hall to the Halls of Congress, Effective Advocacy in the Trump Era, and A Republic If You Can Keep It, How to Fight for American Values in the Age of Trump, with civil rights attorney and activist Norman Siegel. And whereas Soma Action has engaged in numerous direct action events, including the People's Climate March, Soma on Springfield Avenue, March for Truth in Bedminster, New Jersey, Equality March Soma in Maplewood, and the March for Racial Justice in Maplewood. And whereas Soma Action assisted the Maplewood Township Committee in adopting a strong, welcoming community resolution that commits the township to treating all people equally and respectfully, regardless of immigration status, and in discussing the responsibilities and structure of a civilian board to monitor police activities in Maplewood. Now therefore be it resolved by the Maplewood Township Committee assembled this first day of January 2018, that thanks and appreciation be extended to the members of Soma Action for their tireless advocacy and organizing efforts for progressive values and justice in Maplewood and beyond. And I would just like to add that today, as we recognize Soma Action, Soma Justice, and other groups, new and old, that have worked hard over this past year to raise awareness of important issues and take action to protect our neighbors and preserve our values. Their efforts have been awe-inspiring to see and have made a difference here in this community. And as the father of a 7-year-old daughter, I know that our kids are watching. Those of us up here on the Township Committee know that it's not the governing body that makes Maplewood a great place to live. It is and always will be our people, our business owners, students, teachers, coaches, cultural and religious leaders, musicians, artists, and our activists. Those who organize our community events, those who donate their time, talents, and money to helping those less fortunate. So I hope that honoring these community groups today not only encourages them to continue their efforts, but also urges all Maplewoodians to keep being good neighbors, active parents, positive role models, and informed, engaged citizens. Please keep teaching, keep learning, volunteering, organizing, standing up for our community's values, and speaking up for our town and everyone in it. If we do that, regardless of what happens in the broader world, our township will always be strong, and we're thankful to you Soma Action.
Hi, I'm Lillian Hawkins. I'm the president of Soma Action, and I was going to say a little bit about what we do, but I think that's been covered now. But we formed right after the election of 2016, and I was really personally shaken by that. I have little kids also, and I feel like I was kind of I worried about them, but I was in a bubble a little bit, and the election of Trump really shook me out of that, and gave me a whole new set of things to worry about and be afraid of, not only for my children, but everyone in this country. And Soma Action and the people in Maplewood and South Orange, I think we have a lot to be hopeful for. It's been really beautiful to see everyone come out and put their dedication and passion into fighting for what we believe in. In addition to fighting against the regressive policies of the Trump administration, we've done a lot of work at the local level. And I think that's really important in an area like this where all our representatives are progressives way up. And there's only so much satisfaction you can get from calling Cory Booker again and again. So I'm really grateful that we've been able to do so much at the local level, from educational events to environmental work and get out the vote efforts. But I think out of all of this, the work that's made me the proudest to be a member of this group is the work that our immigrant rights and racial justice committees have done. I want to thank Kelly Quirk, Anita Gundana, Tim Katz, and Andrew Young, especially for leading those committees over the last year. From advocating for Maplewood to adopt a strong, welcoming police operational order to demanding increased police accountability, we found that there's other groups in town, and thank you to Soma Justice and Community Coalition on Race, that they're there by our side. And we also have municipal elected officials who are willing to listen and to work with us. So thank you. I can't wait to see what we can do together in 2018. Happy New Year.
I will now read the proclamation for Soma Justice. Whereas Soma Justice is a constructive and productive learning, action, and community group of folks for racial justice and making South Orange and Maplewood safe for a variety of people through discussion, community building, and direct action. And whereas Soma Justice is also a safe place for people of color, a place where whiteness, power, and inequality are unapologetic, challenged and tackled, and whereas there's zero tolerance for racism or white fragility. And whereas Soma Justice has accomplished much since its start in the summer of 2016, including joining the North Jersey Pride in hanging Black Lives Matter banners in the downtowns of Maplewood and South Orange during Black History Month, and joining with peers in evaluating Board of Education candidates on race and equity issues, working with other local groups in raising funds to address food insecurity in our schools, and co-sponsoring protests, marches, including the March for Racial Justice in Maplewood, and other direct action activities. And whereas Soma Justice has been a forceful advocate for police accountability by organizing police monitors and legal observers for the 2017 July 4th event in Maplewood, creating a list of demands for the Maplewood Police Department, and assisting the Maplewood Township Committee in drafting a charter of a new civilian board to monitor police activities. Now therefore be it resolved by the Maplewood Township Committee assembled this first day of January 2018, that thanks and appreciation be extended to Soma Justice for their racial justice advocacy and organizing in Maplewood and South Orange. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Khadijah Costly White, and this is Nina Essel, and she will add anything that I forget, because that is how this partnership has worked since the beginning of this group. think this group got kicked off because living in Maplewood, we often think of ourselves as a bastion of progressiveness, but we don't often challenge our family members when they say things they shouldn't say. We don't often question beliefs that we maybe shouldn't have. We don't often challenge ourselves to make our own space better and our own lives better and the lives of people around us. And so part of the formation of this group was to really kind of get us to say, well, where does racism lay in our lives, in our everyday lives? Where does white privilege lie? And how can we be better community members and family members and all sorts of things so that we can make this corner of the world at least better, even when it feels like everything else is coming down. I thank everyone. I thank all of the people who've been partners in this work. Susan Bergen helped raise almost $20,000 this year for kids in our town to make sure they have ways to eat. And that's been amazing. Melissa Rennie has made sure we came together as community members and fellowship together. And Shannon Kirk has helped organize so many events that have helped educate people around what race and racism is. And that's important work. So I just want to close out, Community Coalition on Race, also Soma Action and other partners who've helped us. I wanted to close out with a quote from Assata Shakur. And she says, "It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains." Thank you. I just want to add one last thing. I know my time is up, but the Township Committee has been really great on helping us all come together around these issues, and I want to just thank Township.
Can I ask you to silence your phones because just be helpful.
Because I forgot.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Ms. Fritzen if she would read the list of Maplewood citizens who are active in community life who passed away in 2017.
Agnes Bork, retired Maplewood Police Department crossing guard. Peter Cross, first manager of the Maplewood Community Pool. Coach, teacher, and guidance counselor at Columbia High School. Bruce Conley, planning board member, Maplewood Civic Association, Maplewood 4th of July Committee. Janet Nudie, retired from the Maplewood Recreation Department. Dr. Charles Crandall, Maplewood Kiwanis and Maplewood volunteer. John J. McGrath Sr., five-time commander of Maplewood VFW 10120, Maplewood Services Organization volunteer. Lois Hume, Maplewood volunteer, and also the wife of former Maplewood Mayor Edmund T. Hume. Lucy Wilkerson, Senior Advisory Council member, active community volunteer, and longtime board member of the Hilton Neighborhood Association. Philip Bertolino, retired captain of the Maplewood Police Department. Gregory Snell, retired Maplewood firefighter. Sharon Duberman Garrity, co-founder of SWAP, SOMA, and SOMA Lounge, active Maplewood volunteer. F. Scott Clausen, owner of Scott's Deli on Elmwood Avenue.
Invite Reverend Brenda Wheeler-Ellers, Associate Pastor of Morrow Memorial Methodist Church, to give us the memorial prayer.
Please join me in prayer. Gracious, divine universe, God named and unnamed, we give thanks for this community that is so much more than geography, governance, and neighborhoods. We are grateful that this place, this town, is often the fulfillment of hope for belovedness and the blessing of connectedness and all the goodness community can be. When this community comes together as individuals, organizations, businesses, neighborhoods, groups, all that comprises us, we are woven into a tapestry that is beautiful, vibrant, a great work of art that inspires, uplifts, and calls us towards equality and justice. When this community is at its best, it is because the threaded lives of those who are part of it have offered and shared their best. Today, we give thanks for community members who have died this past year, who have lived among us, shared generously, given of themselves, led powerfully, taught creatively, and rescued bravely. They have connected us, entertained us, led us, taught us, loved and cared for us, and in doing so, made the fabric of Maplewood stronger and more beautiful. They touched our lives time and again with their presence and do so still in their absence. We honor them today with our remembering. We honor them each day by continuing their work and care for each other and living into their hopes for this community. We reach back across time and space and even death in connection with them as we embody their love for this town, their commitment to making community meaningful, and a powerful force for good and joy in all that we do. We give thanks. Amen.
I'd like to invite the Soma Youth Choir to come back up.
The Soma Youth Choir.
It's now time in the meeting to administer the oath of office to the newly elected Township Committee members. Mr. DeLuca, please come forward to take the oath.
We're using swearing in today, Bible, using the Hebrew Bible, community.
I
I
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
support the Constitution
support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the governments established
to the governments established
in this state
in this state
and the United States all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Maplewood Township
Maplewood Township Committee
through
through
December 31st, 2020.
through December 31st, 2020, according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. 20 years ago, I had the privilege of being sworn in to my first term on the Maplewood Township Committee. I was thrilled that day and anxious to get to work. I can assure you that today, I'm just as excited and ready to start another 3-year term, although that 2020 did throw me a little bit. My passion and commitment to this community are as deep as ever. We live in a terrific town with exceptional people who are truly engaged in civic life. It is a special place, and I will work as hard as I can to make it an even better community to live and raise a family. Thank you to the voters of Maplewood for your support and expression of confidence in me. This is a job we must earn, and I will try to do so each day. Now, I could not do what I do without the support of my wife, Janie. She is my love and best friend, and believe it or not, the person who keeps it real for me. She also is the best campaigner I could ever have. Thank you very much, Janie. I want to congratulate our new colleague, Dean Daffis. I've had the chance to spend time with Dean and know him to be an independent, thoughtful person who will always do what's best for Maplewood. Welcome to the Township Committee, Dean. Thank you. We'll be working together for the next 1,096 days. I want to thank the members of the Maplewood Democratic Committee for their help, and to our chair, Ian Grodman, and Vice Chair Garnett Hall for all your leadership and hard work. Thank you very much. I'm proud to be a Democrat, a progressive Democrat, who's been a staunch advocate for social, economic, and racial justice. Now more than ever, we need the strong voices of progressive elected officials, and I will be one of those. A clear voice for inclusion and acceptance against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and misogyny, against those trying to take away rights from the LGBT community, and against those seeking to demonize immigrants. I will continue to advocate for strong gun laws and to stand up, stand strong, and stand together against the reactionary, racist, and regressive policies coming from Washington, D.C. I'm often asked why I want to serve as an elected official. I tell them I love the job, which I do. But more importantly, I explain that government has the ability to make life better for all, especially at the local level. Every day we rely on our police and fire departments to keep us safe, our schools to prepare our children for the future, our public works crews to maintain our streets and public spaces, our recreation department to provide much-needed programming across the age spectrum, and our health department to promote the general welfare. It is gratifying to help make Maplewood's government work better for the people we serve. In 2018, I will continue to focus on controlling spending and taxes, sharing fire services with South Orange, keeping our neighborhoods safe, preserving our quality of life, promoting the arts, and engaging in responsible economic development. And I will work to rebuild the relationship between the community and our police department. I've had the pleasure of serving with 15 different people on the Township Committee, all of whom served the public with honor and distinction. And our form of government, the committee form of government, is just that. We're a group of 5 equals, one of us is the chair, and we work together for the common good. I look forward to joining my colleagues, Nancy, Greg, Frank, and Dean, in developing real and practical solutions to the challenges with which we are faced. Lastly, I too want to recognize and applaud the activism that has intensified in Soma and across the nation over the past year. We must challenge those who seek to tear down our government, making it an enemy of the people while using it to reward the privileged and corporate interests. Let's remember what President Franklin Roosevelt said some 80 years ago. Never forget that government is ourselves and not an alien power over us. Pillars of democracy are not a president and senators and congressmen and government officials, but the voters of this country. This year, 2018, we have the opportunity to use that vote, and we must be prepared and ready to go. My friends, thanks again for your support. I'm motivated and energized. As partners, let's continue to move Maplewood forward. Thanks, and have a great new year.
It's now time in the meeting to administer the oath of office to the newly elected Township Committee member. Mr. Daffis, please come forward and take the oath.
I, Constantinos D. Davis, solemnly swear, that I will, support the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will bear the faith, allegiance, government established, to the government established in this state, the United States, and that will be guarded of the people, and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's going to be a great year indeed. Thank you all very much for being here. We could not do this together. We have to do this together. This is not about me, it's about all of us. And this could not have been possible without every single one of you in this room and so many others out there. And I'm so touched, very honored, and deeply grateful for all of you, near and far. Especially those who've traveled from far to be with us today. Maplewoodians voted unanimously yes to greater equity in our community this past election season. The message of unity in community, one Maplewood for all, not Maple Good or Maplehood, really resonated with so many working families all across town. At a time when we are being divided by a national regressive agenda, demoralized, at a time when we are struggling to make ends meet and take care of each other. From grassroots activists to ordinary folks who never campaigned before, and former distinguished leaders in town. And we have one of those with us. We have several of those with us. I want to extend a special hello and thank you to Ellen Davenport, our first woman mayor. Thank you, Ellen. You all joined us in a campaign for a stronger community and a new vision for Maplewood. And to all of you, I am very thankful. I must note a few folks in particular, and I'll do it quickly by first name only. You know who you are. Kristen and Heather, you were the first to raise your hands and get involved, and you carried me all the way through the finish line. And for you, I am very grateful. Thank you. Reshma, Malia, Danny, your behind-the-scenes support were necessary and vital. Thank you. Shannon and Steve, not only have you become my new dear friends, but I look forward to staying involved. I look forward to your staying involved and you're leaving your own important footprint in the future of our town. Ian, Garnett, Robert, Kathy, Fred, Sue, David, Sheila, Brenda, all of our tireless and committed district leaders who knocked on doors with me, who spread the word and brought people to the polls, and who mentored me along the way. I could not have done this without you. To my neighbors and friends and a whole bunch of strangers out there who took a leap of faith in me by taking a lawn sign, spreading the word, writing a check, making calls, hosting us in your homes. Thank you. I will not squander your goodwill. To my fellow activists on the ground, you've met some of them here today, you true progressives, you amazing warriors. Kelly, Lily, Sally, Michael, Amy, Nina, Khadijah, Cassia, Tim, thank you. We'd be here all day if I named all of them, and I'm sure you want us to move along. Thank you for your passion and dedication, for inspiring us all to do the right thing. I will look to you to keep me in line. I will ask you for your help from time to time, and together we are going to do amazing things, not only here in town, but outside of our great town. Flipping key house seats in the midterms later this year. New Jersey 7 and 11, look out! To the great community advocates who make up the Community Coalition on Race, you made it possible for someone like me to come live here and to serve this community. I look forward to our continued collaboration towards greater integration and inclusiveness in our communities of Maplewood and South Orange. To TJ Whitaker and Walter Fields of MAPSO Freedom and Black Parents Workshop respectively, thank you for pushing the needle, for pulling the curtain, and I look forward, I'm honored to collaborate with you great warriors to combat the serious inequities in our schools. Aaron Scherzer, where are you, Aaron? There you are. Aaron, words alone cannot express my gratitude to you for your unwavering support, your intelligence, your wit, your big, bleeding heart, for keeping me in line, for being available to me at all times, and I mean at all times, even at 2 a.m. when we were texting each other, for being my drinking buddy, and for so many other reasons. My life is so much richer with you in it, and thank you. Frank McGehee, my brother from another mother. Sorry, Mom and Dad. My dear friend, I am so proud of you and your ambitious, accomplished first year. I knew you would be great, and you've already shown to the community that adores you all across town that you are indeed great. I look forward to serving with you, sir. And to the rest of my new colleagues on the committee, I'm excited about working with you. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my predecessor, India Larrier. India, thank you for being a model of exemplary public service. India may be small, or I should say height challenged, but she isn't without big voice. She may have been quiet in her approach, but always very thoughtful and intelligent, and what a great advocate we've had here in our own little town for healthcare and public health. Thank you, India Larrier. Mom and Dad, βαθιά στην καρδιά μου, σας ευχαριστώ χίλιες φορές. Είμαι πολύ περήφανος σήμερα. That's basically thank you in Greek. You sacrificed so much for me to be here today. You put your pride aside and performed all the menial and demeaning jobs many immigrants do when they first arrive in this country to make this possible for me and my awesome brother, Chris. Hey, Chris. I learned from you the value of hard work and customer service and the importance of being a strong community advocate. And I carry with me every day your greatest qualities. Strong conviction to do better, the thick skin and big heart of a fighter, common sense street smarts, and the resilient passion and idealism coupled with hard work. Thank you. George, my soulmate, my trusted advisor, my best friend, my comedian. George, I can't say enough thank yous to you. Thank you for going on this journey with me, for supporting me always, for being my rock, generally. Boy, do you have ironclad patience. You really have the biggest heart. You're very generous, and I'm very lucky to have you in my life. I love you. Thank you, George. I think we all should definitely celebrate and applaud the great talent that has graced us here today. We've got Soma Youth Choir. Thank you, Aaron and Viraj. Please support the Soma Youth Choir. To me, I just love how their beautiful and diverse voices reflect the beauty and diversity in our wonderful community. Thank you. Thank you both, Aaron and Viraj, very much. Thank you, Soma Youth Choir. We're also blessed to have so many Tony-nominated and Tony Award-winning performers with us today. These are not people who are desperate for a booking on New Year's Day, but they volunteered their time and their great talent to be here with us today, and thank you all for doing that. I'm really touched. Thank you. Special thanks to Jeremy and George and our exceptional municipal clerk, Liz Fritzen. And to the indelible Charlie and Vanessa Pollock for coordinating our program today. Thank you. And transforming experience to take the oath of office. I do take it quite seriously. I'm very excited about tackling the great challenges that lie ahead of us this year and beyond. That our streets are safer for pedestrians of all ages and at intersections and crosswalks all across town. To expand upon recent successes in pedestrian safety that we've made, and to calm traffic and parking issues in various areas, such as the Village in particular. To rebuild the culture of our police department so that it reflects the progressive values of our community. A culture where every officer is valued, where diversity is understood and celebrated, where inclusion is intentional and practiced, where merit is recognized and awarded, where disagreement is welcome and peer intervention possible. A department that is also accountable to its citizens. It's policing transparent and community-oriented. Already I've had the privilege of working on a Citizens Review Board with my fellow activists on the ground and under the strong leadership of Chief Duvall and Committeeman Lembrick. And I'm confident that we will make and be able to bring into fruition such board in the coming months, marking a significant era for the MPD. To professionalize our development process so that we're negotiating and developing in the very best interests of our town, smartly, for our benefit and not developers' benefits. In keeping with the nature of our community, striking that balance between necessary change to reflect incoming demographic and continuity so that we don't lose the sight of our identity and why we're such a desirable community to come to. To ensure that our seniors who built this town can stay here as well, not be priced out, to enable them to age in place if they wish, through a more focused approach for affordable housing, senior housing, and responsible home sharing legislation. To better accommodate all the new residents along and near Springfield Avenue, through commercial development that gives them real options to play, to grab a cup of coffee, to catch a local band, to shop for their groceries, and so forth, while creating more variables and income for our town. To amplify Springfield Avenue and expand upon our Springfield Partnership successes, support our local businesses, many of which are minority-owned and immigrant-owned. The majority of our residents that are moving in are in that area along and near Springfield Avenue. Avenue can and should be the new hot zone in our town with its own distinct character and vibe. To do the same on Irvington Avenue by way of establishing a business improvement district there as well. To work more closely with our school board, ensuring our progress in curriculum access and equity and the desegregation of our elementary schools. To improve our communications so that we reach all segments of our population, ensuring outreach, information, and active participation of all of our minorities in town, our sizable Afro-Caribbean and Asian communities in particular. To collaborate closely and negotiate strongly with the incoming governor's administration for necessary state aid for our schools as we explore resources as necessary classroom infrastructure improvements must be made, for transit infrastructure improvements, library funds, and other state grants that could be used to stimulate local businesses and create jobs. In these times, folks, we simply cannot be insular. we must have a central seat at the negotiating table in Trenton. To effectuate our fire department merger with South Orange's and continue exploring other shared services with neighboring towns that make sense. In other words, that provide much needed taxpayer relief without sacrificing on the quality of essential services. To resolve to stay ahead of the progressive curve, as we always have in Maplewood, on national and statewide issues that have local serious consequences. We have done that before, such as on marriage equality, and most recently on welcoming status, sanctuary town, immigration policy, temporary status, against the ACA repeal, extending the 2% arbitration gap. There's so many others coming up. Expanding voter rights. There was a bill introduced in the Assembly a week ago in favor of online voter registration. Expanding criminal justice reforms, such as drug courts. On DACA, CHIP, social services reform, it seems like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell want to start taking us back to the 80s, talking about entitlement reform and welfare queens. We must stand in their way and fight back. In other words, it's a very robust agenda. We have a lot of work to do. I hope you will join us, stay engaged, and keep hope alive. Without hope, we cannot act. In the words of Desmond Tutu, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. We are the light. Let's carry it forward. Happy New Year. All the best blessings to you and your families. Love more, laugh harder, and continue resisting in 2018. Thank you.
Members of the Township Committee, I now call for the nomination for Chair of the Township Committee for the year 2018.
Ms. Fritzen, what do I call you? Clerk Fritzen. I would like to nominate Victor DeLuca for Chair of the Township Committee for the year 2018.
And Mrs. Fritzen, I would like to second the nomination for Mr. DeLuca to continue as mayor for another year in 2018. And if you'll indulge me, I do have a few words I would like to say in support. While I know that Maplewood would continue to benefit from Vic's experience, leadership, and commitment, regardless of which chair on the Township Committee he occupied, as our state enters a new administration, I'm pleased to support him for a 10th consecutive term as mayor. As I've said before, Vic is the consummate public servant, always going above and beyond to attend every event, listen to every resident, and pitch in every time help is needed with something in our community. He sets the tone for this Township Committee and strongly reaffirms our joint commitment to serve all parts of Maplewood, both geographic and demographic. He devotes countless hours to service and is never afraid to speak up for our community principles. I look forward to the opportunity to continue to learn from you, Vic, and hope that we can use this year as an opportunity for others of us in the Township Committee to expand our leadership responsibilities so that we can be prepared to take over in the years to come. I know that you will continue to work hard to put Maplewood first, and that it will continue to be an honor to serve with you. Also, I'd like to make clear that I strongly believe in each of the people sitting up here. I have confidence that every one of us, even when we disagree, is doing their best to follow their conscience, to lead by example, and to serve the greater good. All of us ran for this office because we want to help our Maplewood neighbors and make our community a better place to live, not serve any personal interests or agendas. Though we are facing pressing challenges from Washington, from Trenton, and locally, there is no one I would rather struggle through this storm with than the people of this town. and no one I would rather have at my side than these four individuals sitting up here. I'm grateful for their support, for their service and their friendship, and look forward to a great 2018. And with that, Ms. Fritzen, I second the nomination of Victor DeLuca to serve as mayor of Maplewood for the coming year.
Are there any other nominations for chair of the Township Committee for the year 2018?
Ms. Fritzen, I move that these nominations be closed.
Ms. Fritzen, I second the motion.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
DeLuca, duly elected chair of the Township Committee for the year 2018.
Thank you, everyone. Well, let me wish you a happy new year again. And I want to officially welcome Dean to the Township Committee. And let me also thank India Larry. I saw her go out. Is she still here? Is she still here? I want to thank India. Let's stand up, India. India spent 6 years on the Township Committee, and today she joins a distinguished list of former committee members whose efforts have improved Maplewood. And let me just take a minute to ask all the former Township Committee members that are here today, I know there's a bunch of them, would you all please stand? And I know there's some other elected officials here, school board and other areas. Would you all please stand? And while we're at it, how about the Township Department Directors and all of our employees? Would you please stand? No. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. So I can make this short, but I won't. So the question is, what is the state of Maplewood as we enter 2018? And I'm happy to tell you we are in excellent shape. The Maplewood brand remains strong, and our reputation is very positive. Our town is inviting and welcoming, diverse and inclusive, and a place of choice for those looking to buy a home, open up a business, or patronize our restaurants and shops. We remain a safe and vibrant community in which to live and raise a family. You know, over the years, Maplewood has been recognized as one of the best places to live in America. One of the 12 most LGBT-friendly towns in New Jersey, and is having the best downtown in the state. Our restaurants win top honors, and our shops and services attract patrons far and wide. And just a couple of months ago, Inside Jersey magazine named Maplewood as one of the state's best destination towns for dining. The magazine asked, is this New Jersey's most progressive town? In addition to our restaurants, it talked about our commitment to environmental sustainability, our art and music like Maple Woodstock, the short train ride to the city, and the forward nature vibe in our community. Now, being a foodie town is a very good thing. And the recent openings of Cornbread and the Cassidy and soon Alto Piano will only add to Maplewood's food option mix. Now, last May, the Star-Ledger ranked Maplewood as number 2 on its 19 hottest real estate markets in New Jersey. And here's why. The sale prices for homes in 2017 were 9% higher than 2016. The homes sold in just over a month, and sellers got about 3% over their asking prices. And the rental market is just as strong. The new apartments, which are 1 and 2 bedroom units, are filling up with young professionals, newly singles, that's a new term. Now, we don't know what impact the tax bill will have on Maplewood's property values. Since the bill is designed to help big business and the wealthy, it's hard to see how the tax changes will help middle-class families over the long term. Some projections call for Essex County housing prices to drop by 10.5%. Others in the real estate community are saying Essex County rail towns will continue to remain desirable and may blunt any tax impact from the new law. The Township Committee will be watching the market over the next 6 months, and will reach out to local realtors to devise strategies to maintain the robust buying interest in Maplewood. We're not going to just watch this happen. And speaking of Washington, we had hoped for leadership that would bring us together, but we saw no evidence of that. In fact, there was a doubling down on the scapegoating of the immigrant community. In response, the Township Committee adopted Resolution Number 3, expressing Maplewood's commitment to equal, respectful, and dignified treatment of all people, regardless of immigration status, and to remain a welcoming community. The welcoming resolution, which got better because of input from many of you in this room, guides the Township staff and police department in dealing respectfully with the public and in interacting with state and federal agencies on immigration matters. The Maplewood resolution has served as a model for other municipal governments around the state. Now, as local elected officials, we have a lot to do here, but we also take seriously our role as an advocate for the community. We urged Congress and the President not to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which luckily survived in the U.S. Senate by 1 vote. We supported the Paris Climate Accord and opposed the United States withdrawal. When the President withdrew, we signed on to We Are Still In, the largest cross-section of local leaders in support of climate action in the United States. We asked the Department of Homeland Security to retain Haiti's temporary protected status, a concern of many of our local residents. Unfortunately, that status is ending, and by mid-2019, tens of thousands of Haitians now living in the U.S. will have to leave. And in support of the LGBT community, we signed on to an amicus brief in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case that was heard by the Supreme Court. We are taking our advocacy very seriously. At the state level, we continue to fight for more equitable state funding of our schools, for a 2% cap on police and fire arbitration awards, and for greater public investment in the creation of more affordable housing. But without question, the most difficult state agency we had to deal with last year was New Jersey Transit. Prior to the summer of hell, mayors and other elected officials along the Morris and Essex rail line here experienced the spring of disrespect. It was only by chance through watching TV that we found out by watching a governor's press conference that all the trains on the M&E line were going to be diverted to Hoboken. 6 weeks before the July track work was to start, local officials were in the dark. New Jersey Transit ignored and disrespected us throughout the planning process. Now, why is this important? Well, train service is vital to our town. People will not relocate here if train service is not reliable. I've spoken with Governor-elect Murphy on this, and have told him that he must fundamentally change the culture at New Jersey Transit so there's more cooperation with the communities it serves and the commuters it transports. New Jersey Transit must again be made one of the best transit agencies in the country, and the Township Committee stands ready to work with the Governor and New Jersey Transit to do just that. Now, the greatest challenge we faced last year was with our police department in the incident of July 5th, 2016, which is indefensible and a stain on our community. The horror of that night was made even worse by the delay by the Essex County prosecutor's investigation. For nearly a year, the Township Committee's hands were tied by the Internal Affairs investigation process. Last June, we engaged Hillard Hines, a national consulting firm, to conduct an independent assessment of the incident of July 5th, 2016. And on August 1st, 2017, we placed the chief and captain on administrative leave, and both are no longer working for the Maplewood Police Department. The Township Committee will work with the community to rebuild trust in and confidence with the police. We and Acting Police Chief Duvall are working with a dedicated group of residents to establish the charter and operating procedures for a civilian police board. We see the creation of this board as a critical step as we move forward. The police chief has also begun implementing trainings recommended by Hillard Hines, which are absolutely critical and have been called for by the officers themselves. And while I'm talking about this, let me also say that we have agreement here at the Township Committee that state laws need to be changed to provide for independent prosecutors in matters where police chiefs, captains, and other top-level officers are to be investigated. There is too cozy of a relationship between the county prosecutors and the top echelon of local police departments. For a second summer in a row, our community was much quieter with the absence of commercial leaf blowers. And I want to thank Committeewoman Nancy Adams for her leadership on this issue. Thank you, Nancy. She not only worked with us here, but she's been working with state and national organizations to promote quieter and healthier lawn maintenance policies and practices for municipalities throughout the region. Now, we had a fun thing happen when we started the year, and we started the new year with something old. The opening of a 120-year time capsule from the former Hilton United Methodist Church. I don't know if you were there, but hundreds of people crowded the Hilton branch of the Maplewood Library, including people outside in the snow looking in the window, to witness this historic event with old newspapers, documents, letters, and coins, and photos from the 1890s. It was incredible. Also incredible was February's devastating construction fire at the Avalon Bay apartment building. on Boyden and Springfield Avenues. Under the leadership of the Maplewood Fire Department and Chief Dingelstadt, the fire personnel fought the blaze in sub-freezing weather. It was a sad time. I'm happy to report that the complex has been rebuilt and dozens of tenants are now living there. The fire did result in one change, in that we are no longer allowing open flame internal heaters at any construction site. In 2017, the other new apartment complexes around town opened, including Maplewood Crossing 2, 255 Tuscan, and the Claris. $1 million expansion occurred at Winchester Gardens, adding a rehabilitation facility and additional housing. Union Tool on Rutgers Street significantly expanded its factory and office areas. And the Township Committee worked with the Audi dealership on Milburn Avenue on $1 million plus plan to expand its building rather than have it relocate on the highway. On the small business front, we continue to have strong interest in opening up shops, services, and food establishments. And I know we cut ribbons at almost a dozen places around town. Now, 2 years ago, I spoke about the need for drivers to slow us down, and we heard Dean speak about it before. It's a growing problem statewide and nationally. More people are dying on the roads, and more of those are pedestrians. In Maplewood, we've employed multiple strategies to make our roads safer. We've installed new crosswalks and signage, added crossing guards, stepped up enforcement, and created more stop streets. But there's a lot more that we're going to do. Essex County is going to be installing a traffic light at Pearson and Valley and making other improvements along Valley. We're finishing a Safe Street to School project at Clinton School. The police have made changes at Tuscan and the middle school to improve traffic flow and pedestrian safety. And the township is working with the New Jersey Department of Transportation and NV5 consulting firm to develop plans to slow traffic on Prospect Street and Burnett Avenue and recommend improvements for Valley, Ridgewood, and Wyoming. In 2018, safety on the roads will continue to be a township committee priority. And there's so much more we've accomplished in 2017. We launched a new township website, relocated and expanded the farmers market, planted 260 trees in our streets and parks, covered more of the township with our jitney service, which, by the way, celebrated its 20th year of operation in 2017. We recycled nearly 24,000 tons of materials, a record high collection rate for Maplewood. We installed new windows and doors at the Hilton branch of the library, and we co-sponsored the first Diwali festival in Maplewood. The fire department responded to more than 3,500 emergencies and requests for assistance, including more than 1,500 emergency medical service responses. The health department inspected over 100 food businesses. Recreation department expanded services for children and seniors. And where's Melissa? Okay, we sponsored the first ever dog day of summer at the Maplewood Pool. I had no idea what was going to happen there. And I show up, and there were more dogs than people swimming in the pool. The building department processed 2,400 building permits and brought in $1.4 million, both records for the township. And the finance department refinanced our notes and bonds, and we were able to save $500,000 in interest payments. In 2018, we have big projects coming up. We'll move forward with our plans to share fire services with South Orange. We'll start the ball rolling on creating a Maplewood library for the 21st century. I always get caught up here. Hold on.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. It's a sign. Too long. Okay. We're going to be building a 182-unit affordable assisted living facility for the elderly, with half those units going to Medicaid-eligible individuals. We'll continue our development efforts on Springfield Avenue, as you heard. And we're going to expand Our SOMA, two towns for all ages, as Dean spoke about, making sure that our communities, both South Orange and Maplewood, are age-friendly. We're going to focus particularly on the areas of housing and transportation. All the work I've talked about needs a strong administrative team, and we have a great one with leadership from Township. Sorry, Joe. Township Administrator Joseph Manning. Joe, where are you? I also want to thank Assistant Administrator Sonia Viveros, Township Clerk Elizabeth Fritzen, and Township Attorney Roger Desiderio. Now, Joe, you're not going to get off the hook here. Perhaps the biggest change we will see in 2018 is Joe Manning. Joe is leaving his administrator position on June 1st. And it is impossible to measure how much Joe has done for Maplewood over the past dozen years. But I want you to know that so much of what we were able to accomplish was because of Joe's steady hand at the wheel. Thank you very much, Joe. So that's it, folks. We've had a productive and challenging 2017, and no doubt 2018 will have just as much, if not more, coming our way. Volunteerism has been a hallmark of life in Maplewood, and we encourage you to get involved. There are now over 20 openings on township boards and committees that will allow you to make a difference in our community. I think all of us here are excited about the future of Maplewood, and we hope you are too. Thank you very much. Okay, it is my honor to ask for nominations for Deputy Chair of the Township Committee for the year 2018.
Mr. Mayor, I nominate Frank McGehee for Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I second the nomination of Frank McGehee for Deputy Mayor.
Mayor, I move the nominations be closed.
I'll second that motion. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. Can we get a motion? Congratulations. Can we get a motion on Resolution 1-18?
Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption of Resolution 1-18.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. We run through the list of appointments. Township Administrator Joseph Manning, Assistant Township Administrator Sonia Alves Viveros, Township Attorney Roger Desiderio, Chief Financial Officer Juan Uribe through May 31st, 2018, Certified Tax Collector Juan Uribe, Public Defender Dennis Cleary, Public Defender Jermaine Mercer, Public Subcode Official Joseph Larica, Electrical Subcode Official Stanley Fergerty, Court Administrator Ryan Bancroft, Register of Vital Statistics Sonia Harrison, Deputy Register of Vital Statistics Elizabeth Fritzen, Director of Recreation and Cultural Affairs Melissa Mancuso, Tax Searcher Juan Uribe, Custodian of Township Records Elizabeth Fritzen, Deputy Custodian of Township Records Acting Chief Jimmy Duvall, Deputy Custodian of Township Records Chief Michael Dingelstadt, Certifying Agent Pension Funds Juan Uribe. You got a lot of jobs, Juan. Fire Official Chief Michael Dingelstadt, American Disability Act Coordinator Len Mendola, Township Engineer Paul Kittner, Construction Code Official Leonard Mendola, Health Officer Robert Rowe, Board of Health Victor DeLuca, Dean Daffis, Office of Emergency Management Deputy Coordinator, Acting Chief Jimmy Duvall, Office of Emergency Management Chief Michael Dingelstadt, Deputy Coordinator, Director of Public Works Calvin Bell, Qualified Purchase Agent Sonia Viveros. Is there a motion to confirm the above appointments?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to confirm the above appointments.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Lambert, can we get a motion to approve the appointing of municipal prosecutor and assistant municipal prosecutor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to move adoption of resolution number 2-18, approving the appointment of our municipal prosecutor and assistant municipal prosecutor.
Second.
And just for the record, appointing municipal prosecutor Annette DePalma and assistant municipal prosecutor Gracio Montilas. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes, thank you. And we have a motion. I'm sorry, I don't want to step on your feet. There, go ahead.
Members of the Township Committee now call for nominations for the Township of Maplewood representative to the joint meeting of Essex and Union Counties for the year 2018.
I nominate Mayor Victor DeLuca.
I second the nomination of Mayor Victor DeLuca.
I move the nominations be closed.
I second the motion.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes, thank you. We have item number 25, election of Board of School estimates. Members of the Township Committee, is necessary at this time to elect 3 members and 1 alternate to represent the Township on the Board of School Estimate for the School District of South Orange and Maplewood, in accordance with Chapter 232 of the laws of 1953. I now call for nominations. Ms. Adams?
Nominate Victor DeLuca, Greg Lembrick, Frank School Estimate, and Dean Davis is the alternate on the Board of School Estimate.
I second that motion.
I move the nominations be closed.
I second that motion.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes, thank you. Mr. McGee, can we get a motion on the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. Lembrick?
Yes.
Mr. McGehee?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes. Thank you. Next up, I'm going to ask Mr. Daffis if he will introduce this next event here. We have participatory activity.
Yes, so Eileen Reed and company are going to close us out today. Eileen Reed is a special friend. I neglected to thank her earlier. Eileen composed an original song for us here today, a song that could become our national anthem this year for our midterms. I hope you will all join us in singing along. Thank you. Sorry.
We have solutions.
Are we supposed to? You don't want us singing with you. No, really, you don't.
First of all, thanks for having us. When he asked me to write a song for this event, I was so honored because I'm so inspired by him and by all of you that are, so good and active. And all the actors, all the people that make phone calls, and things that you do, and the art that you make. We're all doing what we do, which is try to make our day a little better. And then, of course, we're all these amazing friends of mine who came out. We have Maplewood represented, we have Madison represented, to come out and just spread a little hope and inspiration. And feedback on all the amazing, exciting things that are happening in your community, hopefully, everywhere. And the thing is that, when I heard something, it's going to be like a song for my own it turned into this piece, because I kept hearing all these things and listening to the things that people are doing. I kept thinking, this is called me right now. Just talk each other, know each other, coming back to my hopes and little night. And I literally woke up and wrote this pretty much all day. And went back to sleep and woke up and I'm hoping because it's just that no, and adaptation is really happy with the president. And those members are out there and small firms that sing along as we start 2018 and enjoy this Congress. Thank you very much.
Come on, everybody.
Irene Reed and Company. Thank you very much. Okay, if anyone dares after that to come up and we're now opening the microphone if anyone would like to address the Township Committee. So the microphone's open. We invite anyone to come up. Okay.
You have to sing it, though.
You have to sing.
Yeah, it has to be a man. That's a tough act to follow.
Right. Thank you. Ian Grodman, 43 Prospect Street. I'm here in my role as the chair of the Maplewood Democratic Committee to congratulate all of you for starting this 2018 term. We're very excited. We're well represented here in Maplewood by all of you. We want to offer special congratulations to the winners of this year's election. As Mr. Lembrick so eloquently said, Mr. DeLuca is well poised to be on the Township Committee. His reputation precedes him not only in Maplewood, but throughout the state of New Jersey. And we're also very, very excited to have Dean Daffis
serving as the newest member of the Township Committee. He too has already made his mark here locally in Maplewood, as well as statewide, and of course in New York City as well. And we thank all of you for your service and congratulate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian. Anyone else want to address the Township Committee?
Yeah, David.
All right, Dave Hewler, 26 Nelson Place. Happy New Year. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mayor, and thank you very much for your service. One of the things I love about living here, I've lived here 30 years, is that we live in a clean town. And people work very hard for the town every day. People should know that, including you. I think it needs to be stated on the record today. We have a corrupt president. One of the resolutions you left out, for the sake of brevity, was the resolution you passed early asking Donald Trump to release his tax returns. He has not done that. In 2018, this is going to be the theme of our country. I urge you to be advocates for the residents of Maplewood who are on to this on Election Day. If you look at the return, follow the will of the people, do something about this, whatever is in your power, and get at our elected officials to root out this corruption and this treason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Congratulations and Happy New Year's. Art Christensen, 304 Elmwood Avenue, Maplewood, representing the Maplewood Rotary. I want to thank the Township Committee again for its decades of continuous support, especially with regards to making the community pool available to us. Also like to thank the entire community for its support. This year we started off with 550 trees. Thank you. We sold out in a matter of a little over a week or so, and I think we have 3 trees left, and we gave those to a local charity. I'd also like to invite the community. I know there's, 20 openings on the Township Committee? We have plenty of openings on the Maplewood Rotary. We do many great things in the community for the past 82 years. And you can look around the community at the great benches we have and the Christmas tree in Nicholson Square and so many other things that we make available. We meet on Tuesday nights at Toro Locos. Again, come up for a free meal and learn about what Rotary does, both here in Maplewood and the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Art. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so we'll close the public hearing, and as we wrap up, we'll invite Rabbi Shalom Bobomilsky from the Maplewood Jewish Center, who we just lit the menorah with a couple weeks ago, to come up and give us our benediction.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to share this prayer with you. Almighty God, Master of the universe, the members of this honorable Township Committee gather here to fulfill one of the 7 commandments which you first issued to Adam at the time of his creation, and then reissued to Noah and his sons after the great flood. The commandment to govern by just laws. At the dawn of civilization, as related in the biblical book of Genesis, you issued the following 7 laws, which came to be known as the 7 Noahide laws: to worship you alone and not to serve idols, never to curse in your holy name, not to murder, not to commit adultery or incest, not to lie, steal, or cheat, not to be cruel to any living creature, and that every society be governed by just laws which are based on the recognition and acknowledgement of you, God, as the single ruler of all people and all nations. We, the citizens of this blessed country of the United States of America, proudly proclaim this recognition and our commitment to justice in our Pledge of Allegiance, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, Almighty God, that those assembled here to enact laws which will govern this wonderful town of Maplewood, New Jersey, will always be conscious of your presence and conduct the work accordingly. Bless these distinguished individuals chosen by the people who have placed their faith and confidence in them with good health and the wisdom, understanding, compassion, sincerity, and humility needed to accomplish their task. May they constantly realize that in laboring for the enactment of just laws, they are doing your will. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Rabbi. Ask that you please stand. And I'm going to ask Troop 5, the Boy Scouts of America, to please retire the colors. Thank you very much for coming today. We will now adjourn, and we'll meet again tomorrow night if anybody wants to come back. We'll be here at 7:30, and please join us in the lobby for refreshments. Thank you very much.